Good morning, everyone. I know people are coming in from the waiting room. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning, and welcome to the My Texas Future Learning Institute Session 3. As you come in, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Good morning. We know it's a really busy time of year. I do believe we are recording. Yes, just wanted to make sure. And as we get started, I just want to give everyone a couple of housekeeping items that people frequently ask about. Our team typically always sends all of the materials and the links and the recording to everyone that has registered for the session, even if they're not able to join live. As a reminder, we encourage you to stay with us through the rest of the school year. We have a fourth session in the My Texas Future Learning Institute that will be in April. Each session has different information, so please join us for the fourth session. We will automatically register you. And also, please go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A box, and we will answer them throughout the session. We also have some time at the end to address your questions and spend some time going through the answers throughout the session and then also at the end. We will pay attention to the chat. Andrea is dropping links in the chat right now, but it's helpful to see your questions in the Q&A box. I see some names that we know. You can go to the next slide, Jared. Thank you again for joining us. This is our third session of the Learning Institute, where your tomorrow starts today with My Texas Future. We're really thrilled to support your student success this year with all of the exciting features in My Texas Future. Today, our session is connecting My Texas Future to ADVi and the Texas OnCourse Academy. As you all know, if you happen to be joining us for the first time in the Learning Institute, My Texas Future is a fairly new, still new to us, new digital platform that provides resources that are tailored to the needs of your middle school and your high school students. My Texas Future makes the career planning experience more personal, hopefully meaningful, and connected to students' goals and aspirations. It also provides data on regional job demands in Texas and real-world earnings across the state. So the next slide is just a little bit about the Learning Institute in case you happen to be joining us for the first time. We do have session 1 and 2 that are already on YouTube if you need to go back and refer to those at all. If you're joining us here and you're new to the Learning Institute, a couple of things that we want you to get as a participant. We want you to receive in-depth information that is needed to use My Texas Future comprehensively with your students this year and then also potentially in the future. We want to give you access to educator toolkits that include some activities that you can do with your students and tips on navigating the site. So we have those kinds of things in each one of these sessions. And the first session, we did a walkthrough of the Applied Texas student application, counselor suite. Today, obviously, we're talking about ADVi and the Academy. And we will also provide everyone that attends continuing professional education credits. So you'll get those credits in an email follow-up from our student intern. So these events are for counselors, advisors, teachers, administrators, and anybody in higher education. So everyone is welcome and encouraged to participate. And we suggest you attend all sessions just because we've built these so that they cover different content and different features within My Texas Future so that you get a thorough understanding of its full potential. So just a couple of additional things about My Texas Future. We provide over 100 different degree plans to explore at institutions across the state in Program Explorer. There's over 500 careers with local and regional data and over 50 articles and videos related to college and career prep that's relevant to your students starting as early as middle school grades. So the next slide has just a little bit more information about this particular session. Texas learners, your students, will have the opportunity to access ADVi's advisor messaging platform very soon through My Texas Future. So we're going to explore the ADVi student messaging experience and talk a little bit about what that looks like, talk about some ADVi topics, the opt-in process, and attendees this morning will also see where My Texas Future information is located in the Academy. So we have a live demo of the Academy. And for those of you that are here today, you have the first access to receive what we're calling My Texas Future launch kits. If you are planning to do something with your students on the platform, we want to send you some promotional items so you can share those with your students, stickers and pens and that sort of thing. So we'll cover that as well. My name's Laura Guggen. We've been doing the professional learning series for several years now and webinars for college and career counselors, advisors, and educators. This is our team. Not everybody here is here this morning, but thank you to Jared, who's screen sharing and does all of our communications as follow-up. Andrea is dropping links and is going to go over some information with us as well. And I mentioned Ariana Wells. She's not here this morning, but she sends the CPE credit. And so our team is here to join us this morning in session 3. And then our staff is on the next slide. I know we call them guest speakers, but we work with them all the time on this platform and others. So I'll let Daniela say hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Carlo, and I am the program manager for My Texas Future and Direct Admissions. So you'll be hearing a little bit about what we have to present today from me. I'll pass it over to Sam.
Thanks, Daniela. Hi, y'all. My name's Sam Kimmel, and I am the Assistant Director of ADVi, working very closely with everyone here to oversee our operations, our team of advisors, and work closely with our chatbot vendor Mainstay, all of which we'll talk a little bit about in just a bit. But happy to be here, and I'll pass it off to Nathan.
Thank you, Sam. Hi, everyone. My name is Nathan Schwausch, and I'm the ADVi Operations Coordinator. I work very closely with Sam, the ADVi team, and our chatbot vendor Mainstay to help ensure smooth chatbot operations, developing content strategy for all the good stuff we send out to students. Looking forward to talking more about what we do with ADVi. Thank you for taking the time to attend our webinar.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniela, Sam, and Nathan for collaborating with us this morning. This is just a quick agenda. We welcomed everyone. We kicked off at 10 a.m. We have until 11:30 this morning to cover My Texas Future. And then we're going to turn it over to Sam Kimmel, who knows everything, and Nathan as well, to talk about what ADVi is, what it looks like for your students, how does it help your students, and how many students are using ADVi over the last couple of years. And now that we have My Texas Future. And then we'll transition, and Andrea Panter is going to take a look and guide us through My Texas Future information within the Academy. Our learning operations team has taken a lot of time to make sure that that information is in the Academy. So we'll show you where educators can learn more. We always get really great ideas from folks that join our webinars. So we have some ideas already from all of you. So we like to share those. And then we'll release the link for you all to request a launch kit if you would like one, and provide some time for question and answers. So I will turn it over to Daniela.
Excellent. Thanks, Laura. So as many of you who have already attended our Learning Institutes may have already heard about My Texas Future, but one of the questions that I keep receiving as our program manager for My Texas Future is, why should we be using this with our students? And there's just so many different types of resources that are available, not only to you as advisors or counselors, but also to your students to really start that exploration process. As a reminder, My Texas Future is not limited to a certain grade level or a certain age range. Really, anyone beginning from middle school all the way up until post high school can be using My Texas Future as a resource to really help elevate what their next steps may be, either in their career or in their education journey overall. There are two sides to My Texas Future, which is our K-12 side, where our middle school or high school learners can create an account and really explore the resources and tools that are available there. But then there is also an adult learner side. So for anyone post high school who is either exploring transferring schools, might be exploring careers within Texas, or is even looking for opportunities in graduate programs, or really any type of certification, all of that information is available in My Texas Future, and really a great resource to be able to collect that information and do research and be informed overall. So there's a lot of tools that we have already highlighted, but really just trying to help all of you understand what are the benefits, not only to you as advisors, but also for the learner in general, as we get these individuals really prepared to start the research on what's next for them, either in high school, middle school, or even post those experiences. Next slide. So just to give you an overall picture of who are these individuals who are actually using My Texas Future and direct admissions. So direct admissions, as I have previously mentioned, is a part of My Texas Future. It's available to all 12th grade students within Texas who can self-report their academic information, and then get a list of schools that they can be directly admitted with that information. Then they are able to apply and have that sense of knowing that they don't have to worry and wait for a decision, knowing that the decision is going to be reflective of their academic profile. We have about over 385,000 learners in My Texas Future. That's a pretty large number, considering that this is encompassing both our K-12 side and our adult learners as well. So far, with direct admissions being in its first year of launch, we have had over 9,000 opt-ins for direct admissions, with those being primarily 12th graders. So there are over 9,000 seniors within Texas exploring what their direct admission options are via the My Texas Future platform. And just to give you an overall picture, within the state of Texas, there are 400,000 seniors within the overall state. So there are still a lot more seniors that either haven't heard about the platforms that and initiatives that we offer, but there's still lots more time and room for them to be able to explore that, even if it happens after their high school experience, or even towards this later half of their senior year in high school. So part of the reason that I'm even mentioning this in the first place is because there's a lot of room to grow in terms of the types of users that we have utilizing this platform. And it really is going to tie back into what features we have available and why we're doing this Learning Institute. We want our students to be able to dive in and utilize these free resources that are really specific to the area that they live in, giving them a more realistic picture of what is available to them, and making college or a career a reality that maybe they have not thought about previously. So one of the other aspects that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar of is the College for All Texans website. As you may have heard or may have not heard, we have officially retired that website, and we're transitioning all the materials from College for All Texans onto the My Texas Future website. Most of the information that can be found on My Texas Future, but there are certain resources that will be able to be accessed via both the coordinating board's website, but also the student loan, the Texas student loan and financial aid website. If you're not sure where to go, we have a great transition page on My Texas Future that will provide you all the links needed. I know Andrea has just dropped that link in the chat, so if you're looking to find that content regarding tuition exemptions and waivers, or might be even your first time hearing about these types of resources, these are great resources for any advisor or counselor who might have a student in mind and wondering, do they qualify for some sort of exemption or waiver that would allow college to be more accessible to them? So again, My Texas Future is just one of these areas where we're trying to compile all these resources so you don't have to go digging via different websites or trying to do a guessing game on what a student may be qualified for. So definitely feel free to visit the website, click on the links, see what is available there. And if you have any questions, we're always available to assist you in finding any of those resources that you may not be able to find directly. So next slide. All right. So as we are essentially in February now, we launched direct admissions in October of 2024. One of the aspects that we have been wondering is how are students actually using direct admissions? So Jared is going to launch a poll, and I encourage anyone to answer the poll or to type in the chat how they use direct admissions with their students, or if they have any awareness of their students are using direct admissions right now. All right, excellent. We're seeing a lot of good responses. It's okay if your students have not been able to use direct admissions. We're doing a lot more outreach with students and parents directly in these coming months, especially for those individuals who may still be thinking about what kind of college is a right fit for them, but also in thinking about this next academic cycle of just expanding those opportunities for those students. So great feedback. Thank you so much. All right, and I'm going to pass it over to Sam, who's going to talk more about ADVi. As mentioned, all of these platforms work together to provide and expand resources within Texas. So we're really excited to hear from you, Sam.
Thank you, Daniela. And quick housekeeping note, and most of you may have seen this comment. I just posted in the chat, but apologies for any confusion. The My Texas Future website is down for maintenance this morning. We're in the process of releasing a couple of updates and enhancements, but it should be back up and running probably shortly after we end this call. So stay tuned for more, but everything should work in just a little bit. But yeah, Jared, if you want to go ahead and move on to the next slide there. Excited to talk to everybody about ADVi, especially for those of you who might be unfamiliar with our program. But so the coordinating board several years ago at this point developed the virtual advising project, which includes a chatbot named ADVi, powered by Mainstay, to really reach students. Sorry, I am balancing this laptop precariously on a box. But design this chatbot to really reach students with critical college access information through a platform that they all are already accustomed to use and love, their phone. So with ADVi, students, actually, if you could go back to it real quick, students get quick answers to their questions about college. And that's thanks in part to the AI-supported chatbot that we utilize with our work. And, they get the support no matter what step of the college journey they are on, supporting everything from applications and admissions to enrollment tasks, post-secondary success, financial aid, and more. Ultimately through the weekly proactive texts we send students, the on-demanding advising support through our AI-powered chatbot, as well as quick access that we give students to a team of trained advisors employed here at the state. We really are looking to simplify the college-going process for Texas students and ultimately support advising capacity across the state, knowing how many students we can serve and reach through this type of platform and how we can really, grow and scale the impact that we have on students. And if you want to go to the next slide. And so how ADVi works, we kind of like to break it down into 3 areas. So after a student opts into ADVi, they're going to get a number of kind of benefits and services through this program. First up, as mentioned, they are going to have 24/7 on-demand access to our AI-powered chatbot, which can answer well over 2,000 questions about the college-going process. And in addition to that, we're sending, as mentioned, weekly proactive text messages to our users to make sure that they're getting, reminders and updates about really important tasks they need to complete. They're getting tips to navigate tricky subjects and really support through, out the year to stay encouraged and motivated and on track through the process. We also have a team of trained college advisors who sit behind the scenes and are ready to step in and support our students when ADVi can't. So if a student comes to ADVi with a complicated question, or they even just say, hey, I could really talk to an advisor right now, a human, we enable that connection to happen pretty seamlessly. And again, all of this communication, outreach, and support is taking place right on their phone, just through, their regular texting platform. No download or app to required to use this service. And then lastly, and kind of importantly, I think for those of us in the education sphere in particular who might be, be a little wary or have some trepidations about this kind of resurgence of AI in the community. But I do like to point out that here with ADVi, behind the scenes, we have folks like Nathan, myself, our colleagues within Texas OnCourse, our advisors, et cetera, as well as our chatbot vendor, really working hard to make sure that the content going out to students is vetted, accurate, reliable, and relevant to not only where they are in their journey, and timing things with the academic cycle, but also just making sure it's Texas specific. We really want to make sure that Texans are getting the information that Texans need most. You can go ahead and move on. And so, over the past couple of years, we've surveyed our students continuously to try to get a better understanding of, what do they really like about ADVi, and are any of the assumptions we make about what our service provides in terms of benefits to students, is that accurate, we've thankfully found that what we hope students would like about the service truly is what they're liking about it. And so just a couple of, quick highlights here, but students do really appreciate that they are getting these consistent, frequent check-ins and reminders to keep them on task, maybe even learn about something that they had no idea they needed to do before getting the text. They also appreciate the, digestible and easy to understand information we send. That's in part just through the nature of sending this information via text. We have to be pretty strategic with how we get the information distilled into, an easy to read, phone-friendly format, but still doing so with, while also getting the, I guess, most critical pieces of information delivered to them. And then we also hear a lot about how ADVi really helps inspire them to take action and ask for support. And so that's, a big part of what we do is understanding and recognizing that we are, one component, our support service in our students' lives, but we want to encourage them to reach out and continue to build their support, system in general. And so whether that's checking in with their high school counselor to complete a specific task, or reaching out to a college's financial aid office to get more information on their particular financial aid award, that's really a big part of what we do. And students have continuously seemed to, report that they appreciate it. And if you want to go ahead there, Jared. And lastly, I won't read all of these by any means, but feel free to take a look. So what we also hear back from students about why they like ADVi is that they ultimately see ADVi as a friend, and they see ADVi as their companion, their college supporter, their cheerleader. And I raise this because it's very critical to what we are aiming to do and trying to do, and what's sort of behind our, our strategic goals with our implementation here. So if you want to go on. So ultimately, ADVi is designed to be more than just a task-based reminder text service. And so we're not just focused on, telling students about deadlines or listing a number of things that they need to get done, but in addition to doing those things, we're also trying to provide a service that is going to address our students' holistic needs, almost similar to how an advisor would work with students in a school setting. So while we can't chat with a student in the hallway through ADVi, we can emulate the more social emotional type checkpoints and pep talks, encouragement through other ways in our messaging. And we've continually seen, success with this through the high levels of engagement and student satisfaction and positive feedback we receive each year. And so to deliver this type of holistic support for students, we, as mentioned, work really closely with our chatbot vendor Mainstay, whose strategic approach to program delivery and content development really hinges on research into adolescent behavior and psychology, looking to everything from behavioral economics, affective science, and more to guide the research behind their messaging strategy. We're really trying to make sure that our communication helps students persevere and prosper rather than get frustrated or discouraged. But one of the most interesting kind of elements behind our strategy, in my opinion, is this idea of a parasocial relationship. So for folks on the call who aren't familiar with parasocial relationships, I do have a definition here, but one of the easiest ways to explain it is, think about a student who says that Harry Potter is their best friend. Harry Potter is a fictional character. So even though the student feels like they know him very well, and Harry Potter may have a huge influential, influence on this person's life, Harry Potter has no idea the student exists, and he's not even sentient. So in this example, though, Harry Potter, may still be, again, extremely influential in really determining what the student likes, what they think, all kinds of stuff. And so this idea or concept is really at the crux of what we're doing through ADVi. We want to similarly build this type of relationship and build trust and connection between our students and the chatbot to supercharge the impact we're having on them. We're not just giving them information they need to hear, but we're doing so in a way that encourages students to listen and take it seriously. And we can go to the next one. And so just to bring it all back, again, the research and science we look to is ultimately what allows us to text effectively and informs the practices we follow in our work. So we're trying to provide personalized content that's tailored to where students are in their college going journey, leveraging data from systems like Apply Texas and My Texas Future, along with information that students self-report to ADVi while opted in to make sure students feel like they're being listened to and getting the information that's most relevant to them, feeling like ADVi hears them and knows them. We also try to provide them with meaningful service that goes beyond just, academics or even applications, not just, again, a list of tasks to complete, but, building a safe space to encourage students to reach out and get support. And ultimately, as mentioned, we leverage the relationships we develop with our students to ensure that the work we're doing can actually yield results. And so before I turn it over to Nathan, I noticed some of you may have already answered this poll. I think I at least saw some activity, but you haven't. Curious to hear how many students y'all think ADVi has served over the years. And I'm going to let you answer it, Nathan, when it gets to you.
All righty, let's jump on in. So now that we have a better idea of what exactly ADVi is and how ADVi works, let's dive into seeing just how wide ADVi's reach has been since our launch in 2021. So I noticed a lot of folks were guessing a little lower numbers, but since our launch in 2021, ADVi has actually served more than 1 million students. So that's really exciting. We actually just passed that benchmark here within the past few months. But as I've said, as Sam has said, we're reaching students across the country, really, with very important college and career related information. And then when we're looking at ADVi by the numbers since our launch, there's a few other numbers that we really like to highlight to look at our impact. So of those more than 1 million students that we've contacted since 2021, more than 485,000 of those students have actively engaged with the bot. When we say actively engaged, what that means is those students have sent at least one message to ADVi, whether that's a message asking about how do they send their high school transcript to a college, what is the FAFSA, or even just thanking ADVi for support. Almost just under half of those 1 million students have sent at least one message to ADVi, which when you think about it is really incredible. It shows that students are actively engaging and asking a lot of questions to ADVi. When we look at that number further, of those 485,000, more than 3.3 million texts have been sent from those students to ADVi, and of those 3.3 million, 105,000 have been forwarded to our small but mighty team of human advisors. So that's a snapshot of ADVi since 2021. But just to put this into a little more perspective, I want to take a look at what the average implementation cycle during an academic year looks like for ADVi. So here is a quick look at our numbers from the 2023-2024 cycle for the high school senior class of 2024. So last year, ADVi messaged over 260,000 high school seniors and received more than 571,000 texts. Of those 260,000 students, 82% of those students engaged with ADVi, which again is really incredible and really speaks to the value of the messages that ADVi sends. Now, in addition to just looking at these general engagement metrics, we also like to send students satisfaction surveys periodically throughout the implementation cycle to gauge just how good of a job ADVi is doing at reaching these students. And with that satisfaction survey, what we found is 84% of the students reported that ADVi's messages were helpful, and 80% of those students actually took action based on the reminders and messages that ADVi sends to students. So again, that really shows that the messages that we send to students are really important, that they take action based on those messages. And you don't just have to take my word for it. Here we have the students that are saying that they actually did take action based on the information that we sent them. So top right corner, that student says that it really helped me because I had no idea what to do, and you gave me the information that I needed. And that really speaks to something that's really important in our content strategy, is we want to make sure that this information is relevant and digestible to students of all backgrounds, whether it's a student whose brother applied to college the year before and they know everything about the FAFSA and when to apply, we're just sending them reminders. That's great. But for students who are first generation college students who don't even know what the FAFSA is, don't know what financial aid is. We're sending them important information, important foundational information that really helps narrow that information gap and gives them actionable steps to take to make their dream of attending college a reality. And not only do we do that by sending information to students that's relevant and meaningful, we also do that by providing it in a safe space where students feel comfortable working with ADVi, where, like Sam was mentioning earlier, we're developing that parasocial relationship where students feel like they're working not just with a robot, but they're working with a friend, with a cheerleader, someone that's working alongside them to help them through the college process. And that's really ultimately what drives our success as a program and ultimately encourages students to take that action of completing those important steps that ADVi messages students about. So I'm sure a lot of y'all are thinking, wow, this sounds really great. How do I get my students to enroll in ADVi? Well, to do so, we are currently serving high school seniors through Apply Texas. So students can log in or create an account through Apply Texas. And once they do so, they'll need to complete the 4 questions on Apply Texas. And after they've done that, they'll start an undergraduate 2 or 4 year application. Now, once they've done that, they'll receive an invitation that looks just like what we have here on the right-hand side of the screen in their Apply Texas dashboard or their account preferences. They'll just need to input their mobile number, check the box there at the bottom that says opt in to receive text message support. And once they've done that, they'll begin receiving messages from ADVi within the next week. So once students opt in, not only will they receive 24/7 on-demand support from ADVi's chatbot, as well as access to our team of trained human college advisors, one other important benefit of signing up that I want to highlight is that students will receive access to our exclusive scholarship bot that we offer students through our chatbot vendor, Mainstay. So Jared, if you can just jump to the next slide for me, please. So yes, our chatbot vendor Mainstay partners with the National Scholarship Provider Association to offer a service that we call the Scholarship Bot. So with this partnership, we're able to offer students access to not just thousands of scholarships, but tens of thousands of scholarships through this scholarship bot. So the way this works is once students are opted in, they'll text a command to ADVi called Scholarship Bot, and ADVi will send them a link to a unique questionnaire that students will fill out. And with this questionnaire, they'll just list information like age, grade level, GPA, any activities that they're involved in high school, like whether that's FFA, football, National Honor Society, what college they're interested in attending, what majors they're interested in attending, and so on and so forth. And once they complete that short questionnaire, it really only takes a couple minutes to complete. ADVi then sends them a list of scholarships that they qualify for based on the information they input in that questionnaire. So this is really a great service for students. I know from working in high schools, one of the most common questions we get from students is, how can I find scholarships to apply for? Because students want to find scholarships to help pay for college. And, there's a lot of scholarship databases out there where students can sign up and they look for scholarships, but they have to sift through the weeds themselves and read the requirements and only to find out, oh, I'm not eligible for this. This service really helps take the guesswork out of finding scholarships by helping provide students with a personalized list of scholarships just for them based on the information they complete with that questionnaire. So it really is a great service, and I think it's one of the many great benefits that we offer students as part of being ADVi users. Before I wrap up our time talking about ADVi, I want to give a brief preview of what's coming down the pipeline here for ADVi in the coming months. So as I mentioned, right now we're only available to high school seniors through Apply Texas, but in the coming months we'll also be expanding our opt-in channel to include My Texas Future. With this, we'll be able to include an extra opt-in avenue for high school seniors in addition to the Apply Texas opt-in channel. And even more excited to announce that we'll be sharing, we'll begin to launch messaging to high school juniors. And I think this is really exciting for ADVi because, as we all know, college application and selection process doesn't just start during the fall or summer before high school senior year. It really begins a lot earlier, and it begins in earnest in a student's junior year when they work on building a college list, exploring different careers, exploring different majors, and even taking some of those action steps like taking the SAT or drafting a college application essay. So once we're able to launch to high school juniors, we'll be able to reach students at earlier stages in the college application process and really help build that foundation to take the stress out of that process and hopefully streamline the application process. Additionally, we'll also be able to support that work by connecting students with some of those My Texas Future tools, such as that Program Explorer on My Texas Future, the Career Explorer, as well as sharing some of the great informational resources that we have available in My Texas Future. So that is coming down the pipeline. Don't have a concrete date for that set in stone, but hoping to get that going here in the coming months.
Thank you, Nathan. All right, as we move into the Texas OnCourse Academy, I'd like to know a little bit about you all and how much experience you have with the Texas OnCourse Academy. So we're going to do another quick poll. How do you feel? A beginner? Maybe you feel like this is the first time you've heard of the Academy. You've heard about the Academy, you've used some of our modules. Maybe you've had some experience sharing some of our handouts and resources with people, or maybe you feel like you are very experienced, above average, and you've completed most of our modules or downloaded some of our handouts. Maybe you shared them with Parent Night or College Night. And just interested in hearing more to date. Oh, right. Okay, we've got 43% beginner, average 49, and experienced 8%. Thank you. Awesome. We appreciate y'all's engagement. Of course, we always like to know what your previous knowledge is. And you will be excited to know, or at least I hope you will, that we are currently working on improving the Academy. We are adding some additional modules, as well as updating our current modules. Laura will actually be sharing some of those sneak peeks with you guys a little bit later. I'd like to give you a quick overview of some of the resources that we have at the Academy before we bring back our focus to My Texas Future and ADVi. So where can these resources be found? Once you navigate to the Texas OnCourse website, simply click on the Educator banner and you will be able to see a drop-down menu with Academy under Educator Development. Once you click on the Academy, you will be prompted to log in if you already have an account. If you don't have an account, no worries. You can easily register and it just takes a couple moments for you to do so. Within the Academy, we'll offer a plethora of free online competency-based learning for you all as educators. The Academy consists of over 25 different modules filled with information and resources to support you so that you can support your students as well as their families to reach post-secondary success. So each of these modules takes approximately 30 minutes to complete, just kind of depends. Some are a little shorter, some are a little more in depth. It really just depends on your prior knowledge and how deep you want to dig in on that specific topic. So maybe you're a whiz in financial aid and you can just like breeze right through that one, or maybe you need to spend a little more time in that module, which is totally understandable because we know a lot of things have been changing and we are continuously updating that information as well. And the great thing about these modules is that you can start and stop them at any time. So no worries if you get started and a student comes into your room or a parent comes into your room or you get distracted for whatever other reason, it's automatically saved for you so you can start and stop at any time. Everything's automatically saved. So you can just pick up right where you left off. And another great thing about it is that you can earn CPE credits from TEA. So as you're going through the Academy, you're going to come across all of our different pathways. So as I mentioned, we have over 25 different modules. And I'm going to start off with some of our information in the career pathways. We have everything covering from academic planning, where you'll learn about strategies to help students and their families align their high school plan with their different career interests, aptitudes, and specific skills. We also cover career exploration, where you'll learn about strategies to help students explore their different careers and build a personal graduation plan that is aligned specifically with their career aspirations. And then we have our post-secondary pathways, where we cover information including college applications and testings, including the SAT, the ACT, the TSI, TSI2, and of course the ASVAB. And then also our financial aid information, which I think is very important for all of our students and families, focuses on everything you need to know about paying for college, including the FAFSA, the TASFA, and of course, scholarships and loans. One of our courses covers college costs, where you'll learn different strategies to help students understand the cost of attendance and different ways to cover college expenses, and also to help prevent loan default, which is very important that you can share with your students and families as well. And then we have our transition advising pathways, where we have modules that work with, have information working with students with different learning differences and students who move around a lot, or mobile students who are, transitioning from school to school. A lot of different resources there to help them out. I know they struggle whenever they're having to, change from district to district or within the same district to different schools. And then we have a great curriculum for our middle school students. And we're actually going to be talking about that coming up March 18th. We have our professional learning series on the middle school curriculum. So we have a great build out that you can take and use turnkey. These typically happen on the second Tuesday of every month, but because of spring break, we're going to do this one on the third Tuesday. So for those of you that are familiar with the professional learning series, this one's going to be pushed back by a week, but it's still 10 a.m. on Tuesday, but it'll be on March 18th. Sorry, a little plug in there. So that's a lot of information to take in. So please, just if you are new with the Academy, take some time to explore. It's jam-packed with all sorts of resources that you can share with your students and their families. And then today, specifically, our newest module is we are going to focus on our success in higher education pathway, specifically our holistic college ready and advising course, where we will find additional information and resources pertaining to My Texas Future. So I'm going to let you stop sharing, Jared, and I am going to start sharing my screen so we can go through a live demo. Before we get started, does anyone have any questions that you want to put in the chat pertaining to the Academy or anything you've learned from the Academy that you'd like to share with the group? Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes, we can see it, Andrea.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So once you're logged in and you're ready to go, you've got your registration done, you will get to your dashboard, and there you're going to be able to create your own account. And in there you can personalize it however much you would like. And from there, oh, sorry if I move it. Okay, you're going to have to just. From there, we are going to focus on My Texas Future. So the way that you can find that, if you know where it is, as I mentioned, if you remember, it is in the Holistic College Ready Advising. But if you didn't already know that, you can easily search over here or go straight to our module directory, which is where I typically like to go. So we're going to go ahead and start there to My Texas Future. And it's alphabetical, so easy to find. And as we come in here, it's going to give you a quick overview of the course. This particular course syllabus covers 3 different units. So those units include the student advising with college readiness and equity in mind, the Texas transfer framework, and My Texas Future. Some of our courses and modules contain more. As I mentioned earlier, some of them, take longer to do. But this one that we're going to do today, My Texas Future, is a little shorter, but they all start with an introduction. They all have an overview, and they all have a pre-assessment. Whenever we start with our introductions and our overview, we usually include some different handouts that you can use, as well as some different videos that you can share with your students, as well as family members of the students. But we're going to start with the pre-assessment. And yes, y'all didn't know you were coming for a quiz today, but you are. We're going to do this together. So as you go into the pre-assessment, you can see we already did this one, didn't score so good. There's only 5 questions, got a 2.83. So we're going to try it again, see what we can do. And so I'd like you guys to use the chat to give me some of your answers for these. And Laura, do you mind sharing out what the majority is in the chat? So which of the following was a need for creating My Texas Future? Select all that apply. So which ones do we want to use? And we can, for the sake of this, since you can't actually select them, we can use A, B, C, and D. So help non-traditional students to obtain a credential of value. B would be a more effective college advising process. C would be a portal to pay for academic advising. And D would be help and support students with financial aid.
We got several responses for all, and then a couple others for A, B, and D, Andrea.
Okay, well, let's do all. Let's see what happens. Remember, we're trying to beat my score from earlier. So we've got question 2. My Texas Future is a web portal that provides Texas students with a clear path to career opportunities through credential attainment. True or false? For those of you that have been coming to some of our institutes, what do we say?
I see true in the chat, or A.
All right, that works. And then who is the intended audience of My Texas Future? Select all that apply. We've got A, parents and guardians, B, adult learners, C, transfer students, or D, secondary students. And again, we can select all that apply.
I'm seeing mostly all, Andrea.
Okay. And this one is only 5 questions. So if you guys are thinking like, how long is this going to take? No worries, it's 5 questions. We're almost done. What is included in the results of the career quiz in My Texas Future? A, learners receive information about expected salary ranges. B, learners receive personalized career ideas based on their interests. Or C, learners receive recommendations on best places to work. Or D, learners receive financial aid advice. What do we got, Laura?
A, B, and C, and a couple for A, and B.
This one's just a select one. So, A. We'll go with A.
Yeah, I would.
And then question 5, what filter options are available for learners to use in the Program Explorer in My Texas Future? Select all that apply. So this one we have more options. Preferred learning format, campus size. Oh, this one's tricky. Median salary and program duration.
I'm seeing mostly all in the chat, Andrea.
Okay. Y'all are going to be surprised on this one. All right, let's see how we did. How did we do? How did we do? Oh, all right. That's okay. That's okay. 2.33 out of 5. So just so you guys all know, as you're going through, it's going to let you know which questions you got correct, which ones you selected, and if they're incorrect, they will also guide you to where you can find more information, which is great. So you can say like, okay, I need to go back and review here. And of course, as you're doing the pre-assessment, you're thinking, you may not know anything about My Texas Future yet, right? So it's just testing your prior knowledge. So you can go through and figure out like, okay, where can I hop to? Where can I learn more about this? And so as you go through, it's going to let you know. I can go to Unit 1. For this one, we answered about who's the intended audience of My Texas Future, select all apply, not for parents and guardians, but it is for adult learners, transfer students, and secondary students. And then we got this one slightly incorrect, well, fully incorrect. And again, it lets you know we'll go to Unit 2 for that one. So just giving you guys a little sneak peek into what that looks like as you're going through. And you can take this multiple times as well. So after you're done with the quiz, you can start in the different units. This is Unit 1. All of the units have the different modules shown over here and go through the different, you can again skip around, go to the solution, the benefits, working together. Working together actually has some information about ADVi. And then going through just some of the reflection as you're processing, as well as some practice. And again, testing your mastery, as well as some references. I'm going to skip to Unit 2, just because I think it's fun. So I'm going to go back. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go all the way back, but here we go. We'll go back to My Texas Future and go to Unit 2. See all of the different sections in our units. So for the website overview here, again, it has same module contents like it does in Unit 1. And you're able to, again, click through each of these. They have a lot of great infographics that you're able to download and be able to share with your students and families. And as well as, again, if you're interested in learning more about our career quiz, for example. So this is, as many of you have known, because I know a lot of you guys have been in our institute from the beginning, you've already have a little bit of information about our career quiz. So this is a quick 5-minute quiz that the students can do, going through, getting a little bit more information about them so that you can help guide them through then learning about what careers they would be interested in. And as they're doing that, it'll help them determine what would be the hourly wage, what would be the salary, what area, what region, where do they want to be going to school, and that sort of thing. And also it also provides, which I think is really great whenever they're exploring this with their programs, is like, does it want to be online learning? Do they want to be in person? You know, so it really gets specific to the students. So as they're going through these, it gives a lot more information. And they're able to compare all of them. And then again, the Program Explorer. So once they get through all of these, we have a lot of different additional resources and information to for you to be able to help your students. And so quick overview before we get to one of our activities that I'd like us to do together. And so then on this action plan, thinking about what grade are our students in, what do they need to be focused on? So let's say, let's go with 9th grade. What do they need to be focused on? Sam, you want to share out? What do they need to be focused on?
Sorry, Andrea, we're typing in the chat, taking a look at the questions. But for a 9th grader, I would say yes, I'm sorry, Andrea, I missed the question, but I would say they need to, one of the most
No,
important
for
things,
9th grade. No, I'm sorry. I called you.
GPA. Class rank to really start getting an understanding of how that's going to impact them. I know that's of particular interest to me as an area is just, how can students get that kickstart in 9th grade to really get into advanced courses and know how their performance is going to impact them later in high school as they get prepared.
Yes, thank you. And so as you're going through these flashcards that just per grade, for 8th grade as an example, over here exploring college programs related to your interests and goals, talking to them about their different endorsements and being able to, encourage them to take the PSAT and get started early on just planning their high school classes. So as you go through these, it's a fun way to just be more informed as you're helping your students navigate through their plan for success. So that's just a little bit on what we have for the Academy. And then it also goes into our direct admissions program, which we'll talk more a little bit later, but there is a video, a PowerPoint presentation on here as well that you can explore. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live demo there. Does anyone have any questions so far? Let me look at the chat.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Andrea, for a live demo of the Academy. I know our learning operations team has been working really diligently to get into some of the, to get the My Texas Future information in some of those learning modules. So Jared, we'll keep moving. I just want to share a couple of bright ideas before we share the launch kit information. One of the things that I think was really great for Sam and Nathan to cover, and Daniela also to talk a little bit about My Texas Future, is that we know that counselors and advisors and administrators and teachers, quite frankly, get so many questions, and that we make an effort to include much of this content in what ADVi is addressing. So these common questions that you all sent us are things that I think Nathan and Sam talked about, and our ADVi advisors also spend a lot of time covering. So that scholarship tool, I think, is one of the gems of ADVi. I know so many students that spent a lot of time looking at scholarships one by one, and it's so time consuming. So applying for scholarships, what are the admissions requirements to different universities? I think one of the features of direct admissions is being able to see that instantly or very quickly for students. So for them to see some of those admissions requirements. Where do I start? How do I get started? How do I find the resources? We know it's completely overwhelming. Finding the right colleges and financial aid, so many different topics that ADVi helps support, as well as My Texas Future. So the other just kind of a couple of key things that you all told us about the Academy, and how it has supported your advising practices. You can pop these on the screen, Jared. I won't read them all, but just one of the things that I think we realize, and some of you have been doing this for many years, and some of you may be doing college and career advising for only a couple of years, is that we realize everything is constantly changing. The systems are changing, the process is changing. And so Delicia Sanchez from Edinburgh mentioned the Academy keeps me up to date on educational trends, college access and readiness, specific information that you can search by topic related to college and career planning. Thank you, Allison from Brazosport. New initiatives related to education taking place in Texas from Houston ISD, and just hopefully giving you ways to navigate the intricate details of the college advising process. So we actually really thank you all for these quotes and sharing these bright ideas and talking about the topics that are relevant in the Academy. So quick exciting news about the Texas OnCourse Academy. Our learning operations team is creating brand new modules. We're adding a lot more interactive learning activities in the modules. I know it can be challenging to do asynchronous learning. And you all are seeing students, so it's not that easy to do professional learning on your own. But there's new content reviewed. We are doing a pilot currently starting in March, where educators are going to review the content and give us feedback. So that is happening now in order to prep for the Academy new release in the fall of 2025. So expect communication about new information, new content, and new learning in the Texas OnCourse Academy by the time the school year starts. Just to show you a little bit about some of the interactive things that are in the Academy, there's going to be more interactive games, matching exercises, different creative ways to learn, in addition to some of the pre-assessments and things that Andrea showed you, and some also like turnkey resources that you can share directly with students. Okay, so we have some folks here. I want to tell you about the My Texas Future launch kit. Andrea is going to drop a link. We created a one-pager, front and back, about what these launch kits are. So we want to give your students some stickers, and we want you to also have some information to help do a student profile in the My Texas Future launch kit, or do the career quiz. A lot of students have devices. I know my daughter has a Chromebook, but we know all districts don't have that. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to share this with your colleagues also. So we have several different things we give. You can get a charging coaster, a set of pens, 25, and then some student stickers. So that document that we created for you, we just dropped in the chat, and that is for you to keep and share with your colleagues. So the next slide is what we want you to do. So we wanted to make this as simple as possible because we know how busy all of you are. We also have toolkits that we've covered in the other learning institutes that will also be in the resource doc on things you can do with your students. We'd like for you to use the site with a group of 25 students who are just 13 or older. So that's somewhere about in 7th grade. Do something like this. This activity just needs to be, you know, till through the end of the year. So sometime this school year. And then eventually we'll just follow up, and maybe you can send us a few photos of your students using My Texas Future, a little bit of feedback. It'll be a very, very short form, and then hopefully share your learning event on social with that My Texas Future sign. So we've really, really tried to keep it very simple for you to just help adopt and use and try this new platform with your middle school and high school students. Those are what the materials look like. We want you to have a little something, which is that charging coaster. It plugs right into your laptop and will charge your cell phone for you. We have some really cool pens that have highlighters on the other end. And the stickers are for your students. To put, my daughter puts stickers on everything, laptops, water bottles, all over the place, to start helping just generate some additional interest around what My Texas Future is. And I see that link is there. And then really quickly, I just wanted to mention session 4 is April 17th. And we're going to really dig into the career quiz and the career explorer, and talk a little bit about what Apply Texas is going to look like. I've seen a couple of questions and comments on Apply Texas. So we will pre-register you and give you reminders on session 4. So you will receive the resource doc that we have, and we also have a QR code for you here. And we can come back to that, but I think we're going to transition into some questions. Is that right, Andrea?
Yes. Yes. But yeah, Jared, if you don't mind just going back to let them take a snapshot of but we are going to provide all of these resources, as Laura mentioned earlier, all of the links that we provided in today's session, as well as all of our resources, the recording that'll all be provided to you guys afterwards, as well as this resource document, which contains them all, which is nice. But if you want to scan that QR code real quick, you can have it easily. If not, you'll get it in a couple days, and then we can open it up for Q&A.
Sam, do you want to take a first stab at maybe some of the questions I saw that were in the Q&A box?
Yes, I am happy to get started there. I'm going to start with a question saw twice around just, if students aren't opting into ADVi when they first create their Apply Texas profile, can they still do so later? And the answer is yes, they should be able to. And I say that because if there's ever an issue with that, where you have students unable to, that would definitely be something I'd like to know. But in theory, those students, once they come back to Apply Texas, they log into their account. Now that our ADVi opt-in feature is available in the system, as long as they have completed, those requirements we need from them in the system, they should get that invitation straight on their dashboard. If they don't, I will also just again mention, and I apologize, I can't share my screen here, but when students are logged in, they're able to adjust their account preferences, and that is another space where students can opt into both text and email-based notifications, and so they should be able to update their preferences there to opt in. Again, because we are targeting specific students right now, kind of side comment, because it wasn't the focus of this presentation, but outside of high school, we do also serve adult learners through ADVi, which is pretty critical, who reach us through Apply Texas. So we essentially need some information from students to make a proper assessment about where they are in their kind of educational pathway, given that we message students differently based on where they are in the process. So hopefully that answers that question for y'all, but happy to provide more context if needed. I will also just turn, and Molly, you asked a good question in the Q&A, and I saw a follow-up that may be related to it in the chat as well. But, with ADVi, we do get students asking a lot for, institution or program-specific information. ADVi's biggest focus is more on general advising, but we're continuously working to improve that and really try to drill down into more institution-specific information. In fact, in just a couple of weeks here, we're going to be offering students an opportunity to get college-specific information if they'd like it. But those types of questions that come in, they often get handled by our advising team, just because they require a lot more personalization than what we can really provide through the chatbot's AI, given that we really need to dig through into specific program requirements, et cetera. And ultimately, when a question is truly suited for an academic advisor at a college, we are the first to advocate and push students towards those resources. We recognize and see that folks at institutions are really, the best and sometimes only folks equipped to really advise students in that area. So hopefully that answers the question there a bit, and just happy again to expand my last question while I'm talking here, because I sure do love to do that, is I saw something. I know, James, you had shared a few ideas and suggestions that I think are great and are definitely in line with what where we're heading and what we hope to achieve. And so, as Nathan mentioned, we are hoping, or not hoping, we are going to be launching to high school juniors, expanding that service down at least one grade level. I know I saw a question around timeline. I would say the at the latest, hoping to launch by this summer if we aren't able to do so sooner through My Texas Future. But truthfully, we would really like to expand to all high school grade levels and really be able to reach students in 9th grade. And with this connection we're developing and kind of finalizing through My Texas Future, that should really help us in achieving that. So I think that that's great feedback, though. And also, I will just brag a bit that for those of you who saw the link to Washington State's OtterBot, which is also a great service, and we stan Washington's OtterBot in this group, but they were inspired by ADVi. So just want to take that moment to brag a bit. But happy to chime in with if I need to answer any other questions. Last comment, though, because for us Texas folks, it's because in Texas we do it best. We do it better and bigger than anyone, right? Hopefully y'all can relate.
Yes.
I do just want to address some few questions that were in the chat that, in case anybody was not able to see, related to My Texas Future. So there was a question related to when is the best grade level for users to start using My Texas Future. Really, anytime. 8th grade is a great time for users to start utilizing the tool because it does allow them to continue to grow throughout their educational journey as they transition into high school and their interests change. But if a student hasn't had a chance to create a profile in 8th grade or even before then, that's okay. High school is a great time as well, especially as those articles and references will become more even relevant to their high school journey. So really anytime is a great time, but just know that this tool will continue to grow with the student regardless whether they start in middle school or start post high school. And then I just wanted to address another question related to just additional features for My Texas Future. We're always open to feedback from the community. So we do encourage you all to provide us with any suggestions or just addressing any general questions, even post this presentation. I am the program director for My Texas Future, and I'm happy to relay any of those comments to our great product team who's helping us enhance the functionality of My Texas Future. And also, the website is back up. I just got word as well that they finished all the updates as well. So if you were looking to access My Texas Future or any of the other resources we showed today, that should be back up today.
Yeah, and Danielle, a quick comment on that, because I saw at least one question about Apply Texas around the same thing, and that is also the case. It was down for maintenance. I haven't vetted that it's back up and running, but I'm assuming so if the other site is, but apologies for any inconveniences there on behalf of that team.
Do we have any additional questions? You can drop them in the chat or in our Q&A. We really appreciate you guys coming with us today and just having a great Thursday. So any feedback you guys have for us would be much appreciated. We always want to be able to give you guys the most up-to-date information. So if you don't mind filling out just a quick, I think it's 5-question survey, it'd be very helpful for our team. We really appreciate all the engagement that you guys provided and all the information from y'all today already. Great. I don't see any other questions. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thanks everyone for joining. We will follow up with an email with all this information in a couple of days.